Good morning, fanatics, and welcome to Flow with the Markets Tuesday, volume 158. Iliya here, and as always, I'm really happy to have a chart update with you. So as you know, in this video, I just jump on the charts. There are no transitions, there are no timestamps. It is just me freely discussing and just marking up my charts as I will do every single day. So this is a great exercise for you as well to see how I adapt to the markets every single day. Because I'm a day trader and my analysis pretty much changes every single day. That is absolutely for sure. And it also tends to change like from London to New York. Usually something different happens. And then if I trade New York, I'm also going to do a new markup and just flow with the market, right? So we have we have a lot to speak about today because a lot of things happened, right? We have some massive pushes in the market, something that we did not expect as much, right? So this is why Mondays are usually very tricky and I don't like trading on Mondays. Sometimes they can be the best trading day during the week, right? It provides you some textbook opportunities. Sometimes it's just choppy, right? Sometimes you just don't get what the market is doing. And sometimes like this week, it just opens and it just pumps, right? And it doesn't give you any entry. And right now on Tuesday, it leaves you to wonder, okay, what do I do today, right? But of course, that's the market. And this is why we also need patience, right, to wait for the proper trading setups to occur and then to strike on them, which I think today we might get something. Tomorrow on Wednesday we have some major news, and I think Thursday and Friday could be nice trading days. So again, guys, just be patient, follow your trading plan, don't go FOMO. Not every day is a trading day, right? So enough of my rant, let's have a look at what the market did on Monday. So of course, sorry for my voice, we are always starting from the Dixie, and as you can see, again, we had two scenarios. The first scenario was to have a nice pullback to the downside for us to then potentially take a long into the short level. Well, that is invalidated. And then the second scenario was to actually first start with a tap of this daily supply and then start to shift, right? Potentially break that new higher low, right? Then form a new lower high and then potentially continue going lower. So looking at how it's forming right now, this potential outcome is still possible, right? We just climbed a little bit higher. We are currently collecting all of that liquidity that is resting above these flat highs, right? But what I do not like about this price action is that it's too bullish, right? Yes, we had a very massive drop right there, but also, guys, remember, where are we tapping? Okay, if I just remind you on the weekly time frame, we are retesting this weekly zone, right? We very nicely rejected it. The wick hasn't been filled, right? As what I always say about wicks, they tend to get filled, right? So we definitely wanted to see that little pullback to the downside, which did not happen. So right now it leaves me to wonder, I don't know about you, but I'm wondering, okay, do I right now follow this beautiful 4-hourly pushes, right? This big push to the upside, or do I right now focus on shorts from this daily supply? Okay, so this is my biggest question right now. So yes, what we have to do right now is just let the market tell us, come on, let the market show its hand, right? So this is a potential kind of refined 4-hourly zone. We're taking all the liquidity, we're tapping inside, we're rejecting. And what you're going to see right now on the 50-minute is the market actually turning a little bit bearish, right? So there is our high right there. There is a break of the higher low. We even have a break right there of what is a higher low, right? So right now the market is retesting that new supply, right? And it's currently responding from it. Another confirmed break of structure right there. So it's starting to build a little bit of bearishness, but guys, look what is coming from the bottom. It's just massive bullishness. And I just don't think the market is just going to stop like this and reverse. Okay. Maybe we're going to have another run into the highs to take out the Asian high, because this is the Asian high right there, right? So something like this is definitely possible if we're going to have a short, right? Or the market can just, for example, right now, give you a little short, maybe trick sellers into the market, come in, pull back a little bit, take out the Asian low, and then just expand into the highs with this overall trend. Okay, so remember that we are right now overall bullish. There is a potential 4-hourly zone that I see with this kind of 50-minute candles. If you drop to the 4-hourly, yeah, it's pretty much this wick right there. We slowed down right there with this bearish candle, and then we impulsively pushed higher. The next zone is going to be here, which is pretty much where the market opens, and this is too deep of a pullback. So if I am looking for any bearish pullback to get long, well, it will probably, the highest probability will be right here within this zone, because you can see this zone is perfectly into the 50% of this push, right? So yeah, again, a lot of scenarios, guys, and this is one of the days. Like some days I'm just, yes, today I'm shorting, and this is 100% sure, right? I'm gonna short the hell out of this market. But there are some days when you're just like, okay, I just don't get it, right? And that's fine. This doesn't determine your skill as a trader. If you cannot see something on the chart, this is actually good, because this means that you have a framework in your mind, right? And this is something that I found about myself recently, is because I'm traveling right now a lot, and I just check the charts on my phone, and I'm just looking at the phone, and I'm like, okay, there is no setup, right? I just don't see the patterns that I like to see, so there is no setup, so I just freely close the phone and I don't worry about it, right? Not every day, again, not every move is a tradable one. So this is the Dixie. Again, there is a potential that right now, currently it's 60 minutes into Frankfurt Open, right? So there is a potential that we go short from here. There is a potential that we liquidity grab above the Asian high. Then what I will do though is wait for a new 15-minute shift of structure, and then potentially wait for a new lower high and then short it. Okay, I do not try to catch the top right now, but I wait for a good liquidation to occur, then to see the shift, and then to potentially catch a lower high. Okay, so that's the Dixie. Again, guys, look at that beautiful push. I just don't think the market is gonna stop right there in reverse. Probably we're gonna have another push into the highs. We have taken a little bit of liquidity above this high. Maybe we can come in to manipulate above this guy as well, right? And of course, don't remember that currently the flow is bullish. So if you manage to catch longs, then that will be your best choice, which means that we should be also short on euro. Like, look at the euro. So I was looking for longs, of course. I was calling longs yesterday in my community as well. But this level that we had for the longs was just invalidated. So we shouldn't have taken any longs, because I promise you there weren't any long setups, right? Of course, even some of my community members, they took longs right there. But again, if you have that short market, then focus on shorts. Don't take longs, right? Because any long setup that you get is gonna be a pullback to then for the big short. Okay, so again, focus on the momentum right now. So yeah, everything right there, my two outcomes are invalidated. Yes, we're still in this daily demand. Unlike the Dixie, this one is almost about to break, right? So we're absolutely at the lowest point, right, which is this wick, right? We're currently reacting from it, but I just don't have yeah, I don't trust this level anymore. So there is a little supply that we can look at. There is another one, right? This is a little bit far away. This is the most recent one, which is this wick, which is something similar that we also found on the Dixie. It is that New York push, right? That New York Stock Exchange push to grab all the sellers that were here, to trick new buyers, and then everybody gets stopped out, and we continue going lower. Okay, so what we also have right now on EU is that same shift that we have on the Dixie, right? So we have a lower low, we have a break, so a high, then we have a new demand introduced, and right now the market is holding from that demand. But what we also have from the top is supply, right? So right now, again, there is that battle between supply and demand. And again, guys, what I want to do is short, right? I want to focus on shorts on euro just because of this beautiful momentum. Okay, I don't think this Monday push was manipulation, because usually manipulation, yeah, it's not gonna happen with so many candles. It might just throw like one candle like this and then reverse, right? It's not gonna be a sustained move to the downside, right? So I don't really expect right now we're gonna pop massively to the upside. But of course, as I told you, there is a potential for a long setup. Maybe the market can come in again, right? Retest this demand, then push higher. Maybe it can come in to take out the Asian low and then reverse. But of course, guys, if I right now start seeing this kind of shift, I will focus on the short, right? So my best bet will be to wait for a break of the structure, a retest of this new wick that was formed, and then to potentially go with the lows. Okay, so my biggest tip for today is follow that overall momentum. Again, don't try to catch the bottom, just try to flow with that overall momentum. Probably there is already a setup occurring. Yeah, there is that beautiful. So yeah, before I started my analysis, I was just looking at this move, this kind of consolidation. There is a new liquidation above. There is a break of structure. So technically right now, guys, we can be looking to short from a zone like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna set an alert just to monitor it, how it develops. So yeah, this is currently my outlook for euro. I will be focusing on shorts, but if any long is provided within this area, half risk, Okay, so if you're risking 1% usually, then reduce your risk to 0.50 if you're taking trades against the trend. Okay, so that's EU. Let's have a look at EJ. Probably oof. Okay, yeah, well, technically, guys, we already had retested this zone, and I thought we might come in for another grab, but no, the market just opened, just boom, massively dropped into the lows. So right now, we right now have a clear introduction of sellers on this EM pair. But yeah, right now comes the tricky part. Where do we sell it again? So right now, the market is potentially gonna start holding from some sort of demand zones on the left, but it's just gonna react and then continue going lower. Okay, so don't expect, especially on the JPY pair right now, don't expect the market to pull you back towards this zone. It's probably gonna give you a 38.2 pullback and then continue going lower. Okay, so again, the biggest key is right now to follow the 50-minute. Okay, there is our first zone above the 50% that you can short from. There is one right there, which is below as well. What is happening right now? The market is technically bullish. There is the lower low, there is a higher high, so the market is technically bullish right now. So what I would love to see is a push into the highs, right? And then of course the 50-minute to shift to the downside so I can take a short. Okay, so if you're trading euro yen right now, again, just to simplify it, wait for a slightly bigger pullback into the highs, right? But don't expect it too much, right? And have your normal FIP. What? Okay, I should maybe flip it. Just give me a second. Reverse. Yeah, so there is a 38.2, which perfectly resonates with this zone that we drew. So wait for that, then wait for the 50-minute shift, and then strike with the overall trend. Okay, so that's my EJ without complicating it too much. Aussie dollar is also funny. Well, it's not really funny. Probably I mentioned that I do not trust too much in that zone, because usually when the market starts to compress like this after a massive bump, it's usually distributing, right, in order to push lower. And again, guys, even if I was again shouting out this level yesterday. This level just got disrespected, so you should not have taken any longs. And there was a comment from a fellow fanatic that is watching the videos who said, like, those supply and demand zones, they just don't work, right? Well, yes, a lot of the times they might not work, but of course, we avoid taking losses by having an entry criteria. Okay, so when the market taps into a zone like this, you want to see confirmation. Okay, you want to see confirmation, and you just don't like press a buy right there, stop loss below. This is a strategy itself, right? But I think the win rate is going to be lower, and then you need to kind of introduce new rules to your supply and demand zones, right? So then you should, let me give you a little tip. Then you should take your whole range. Then you're going to say, I'm only going to take supply and demand zones below or above 50%. So this immediately right there gets disregarded. Okay, so you look too long from here, for example. There are a lot of ways to increase your probability. Currently, AU, again, massive reversal lower. There is that little slowdown. There is a new push that created the new lower low, right? So technically it's a structure break, retest. And what we see right now is that the shorts are starting to cook in, right? So there is that little liquidity grab right there. There is a potential shift of the 50-minute structure, right? Which is just about to happen. And then what we just take is that newly created supply, right? And potentially that could be a nice setup we can look for. So this is my Aussie dollar, right? This is technically a full hourly zone, which is very strong. Flat highs right there, everything taken, pullback, taken the fresh high right there. So the liquidity has been taken. Okay, so I'm just looking for this one to break right there, and then a retest. And then technically, guys, if you wish to be aggressive, then that could be a potential aggressive entry, right? 9 pip stop loss, ride it towards the lows for a 4 hour, and then you're good. Okay, so that's my Aussie dollar. AJ, oh, okay, AJ was just completely invalidated. But yes, we're right now having a nice confirmation because we're retesting this big supply, massive dump to the lows, which technically creates a 4 hourly shift of structure. So right now what is going to happen, guys, is usually when you have a massive dump like this, the market is going to give you a little slowdown and then reverse. So then what you want to trade from is this slowdown. Okay, the market is not going to come in and retest this level. So we have this, right? A lot of you might look for this zone, but what the market is doing right now is just stacking a little bit. It's going to give you another impulse, and then potentially it's going to come in and retest and then go. Okay, so this is my macro perspective on AJ, and right now we should be, I hope the phone doesn't ring because I'm again on 4G. Right now, of course, the focus is shorts, right? This guy doesn't have anything on the left. That is a high probability of getting retested in reverse. So yes, merge it with the analysis of the Aussie dollar, right? If Aussie dollar starts to dump, then this will probably follow up, right? Wait for the 15-minute structure to start trending to the downside, right? And then just go with the flow towards new 4-hourly lower lows, right? So this will be your first target right there. And then you do what I told you, right? So then this is going to be a new supply break. Then you wait for the retest, and then you have a macro continuation, okay? So let's see, unlike EJ, which we had a little bit of space into the highs, this one kind of looks a little bit ready. But yeah, in situations like this, you don't have anything on the left. So what you have to do is wait for the 15 minutes, okay? And sometimes you have a retest of structures like this, right? This is also some sort of a supply and demand right there. So yes, this is AJ. NZD, yep, completely invalidated as well. That's fine. So we just delete it. Breakout structure to the downside. So technically then our supply is this right now. So is it going to come in retest? We don't know, right? We already have a pullback and a new break. Very similar to the Aussie. There it is. And it's probably already cooking. Yeah, this one is already moving towards a new lower low. So it's kind of sloppy, a little bit late, right? I'm going to leave this one and focus on AU. AU looks a bit better, but yes, guys, so this is overall, I will be looking for the market to overall come inside this zone right there. So if you manage to catch any shorts on the way down, then that is great. Okay, so, but on the 50-minute, it just doesn't look very nice. But yeah, if you kind of get this nice structure break, then a retest, then that could be a potential short. Okay, but overall, the macro analysis is to keep driving short towards this zone. So if you get the opportunity for shorts, then take it. NJ, this one is tricky because I have this big demand with this big wick. Yeah, well, the NZDs are tricky. I'm gonna give up on the NZDs today. Both like NJ and AJ as well, they don't look great. They're kind of consolidating right out at the bottom. So I just don't have a trading setup on those. Okay, so wait for something to occur. Wait for a drop, then wait for the retest. So that could be a great setup. Wait for that structure to break right there on the 4-hourly time frame. Then wait for the retest. Then that is going to give you a nice high quality short opportunity. But right now, I just don't see anything, right? It's just consolidating. So it can go either up or down, but there is no trading setup. UJ hasn't done a lot of work yet, right? So it looks like this is our current play, right? Is it going to push higher right now though? That's the question. So we had a shift of, oof. So probably EU is retesting our zone right now, but yeah, probably I'm not going to be taking it because I don't have my platform open. But yeah, look at that rejection. So we're currently rejecting from that demand zone, right? As I told you. So we tapped into that demand. We had the top of the demand. There is that shift of structure right there. So we push, we just quickly retest that new zone right there, and right now we're popping up. So right now it's the decision point, right? Are we gonna respect this and reverse, or are we gonna just break above it? So then we potentially try to focus on shorts. But of course, let's paper trade it. Let's say we took it like this. The stop loss is pretty tight. Let's see what happens. But I do think it could be a stop loss. But of course, this could be that manipulative move into the highs to scare us out and then to potentially reverse. So back to EJ. OH. I'm not sure, guys, about this one. Yes, it's bullish. We shifted the structure, tap, reacted, but it looks more like a range to me, right? So look at that beautiful tap inside. And yeah, technically, this is the swing point that I need to see broken in order to confirm a bullish trend. Demand is in control right now. So let's see if we can have something like this. If the Dixie is bullish, then this one should also go up, right? But yes, if you ask me what are my thoughts on UJ, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on this one, right? I do like this bearish move into the lows, into the demand, right? And I do like the reaction, but I need to see a little bit more confirmation. Okay, I need to see this swing to break, because technically, as I told you, we are still a little bit bearish, right? We're still holding from this supply. So what I need to see right now is this, right? A retest, a break, then a retest again, and then potentially we can drive it towards the supply again. Okay, so that's my outlook on UJ. Give it some time. It's currently overall long bias, so I'm long bias on the pair, but I need a nice setup. GU, so yeah, GU, as I told you guys, This is the major high low, so as long as we're above it, we're bullish. The market just opened, broke it, right? So that's fine. So right now we should be technically bearish. A couple of levels right now. So there is one, there is two. I'm not really trading GU right now, but yes, it looks like this is a break of structure right there. So yeah, technically we have even a hourly supply. This could be a potential target that we can be looking at right now. So it's still within the Asian range, and right now what I do think a lot of people might be doing is looking for the long, which is a similar setup that we just had on EU, right? So there is a shift. There is a very nice retest into the low. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are longing this price right now. It is possible, right? Don't get me wrong, it is possible, right? But overall, I would love to see the market pull back towards this zone and then potentially give me a short setup and go with the overall flow to the downside. Okay, so that's GU, just plain and simple. This is my 4-hourly lower high. Currently, we are not in a nice price to sell yet, right? But of course, the overall momentum is sells. So if you start having nice breaks of structure to the downside, then just follow the momentum. Okay, so very curious to see whether this long right now is going to play out. I do think it could play out because it grabbed a lot of liquidity right there. Look at the reaction. So probably some of you might already be looking for a long like this, which is definitely possible because again, we haven't pulled back towards a nice shorting area. We're a little bit oversold, right? So definitely a little pop to the upside is possible. GJ, it's probably going to be tricky as well. So yeah, this is in an overall range. So yes, we introduced some nice sellers momentum, breaking folly structure to the downside, which creates again our major lower high right there. But again, as I told you, probably it's not going to come in so deep, right? It's probably going to retest the zone like this. And if the 15-minute shift structure to the downside, then I would say short it. Okay, beautiful flow to the downside. Right now, it's a little bit sloppy. So the JPYs, guys, according to me, are a bit sloppy. Also, UJ is not the best. So I'm going to give them some more time. But of course, GJ looks short, but we saw also a UJ is long. So there is that little confusion. Maybe we have some news release that is going to help us out to determine the bias. Goldie is not popping above, but it's popping below into the major demand. So what I told you in the weekly outlook, I believe, as long as this one holds, then I'm still long, right? I think somebody shouted a nice tap into this demand. I think it was Con. 1780, 1760. No, 1760 is way too low, but yeah, probably towards this sort of level. So let's see how right now the DIX is going to respond, because usually the dollar is comparing to gold, right? Right now, a lot of bullish momentum on the dollar. So what that means is some bearishness is kicking in on gold. So waiting to see that sentiment of investors to see how it's going to go. But yes, currently that I just don't like this bearish intention. In order for me to take a long, then I will need to see some nice bullish flow enter into the market. It looks a bit risky for me right now, especially with this sort of consolidation. So I'm personally giving it more time, right? I'm giving it more time to see whether this level will hold. And then potentially, maybe we can come in again, shift the structure. Then that will be a nice setup that I would wish to take, okay? But I don't trade gold, so don't listen to me too much. US 30 and the indices just beautifully retested the zone and continued trading higher, right? So potentially, as I told you, I'm expecting these levels to get taken, right? 34.20. So looking for that, and as long as we keep pushing, then of course, guys, go long, right? The flow is beautifully bullish, so we should go long. Nasdaq as well, it didn't even provide us with that bigger push. It just pulled back a little bit, impulsing again. So yeah, technically right now we have another range to potentially buy from, which is this guy right there. So yeah, this is probably also driving towards 61.8. There is a tap, maybe 705. It's probably driving somewhere. But of course, only price will show us when it's gonna stop. S&P is also driving. We have those targets right there. It's traveling towards them. So let's see. I'm very curious. But of course, not much of an update that I can give you guys. It's just follow the flow. Okay. Bitcoin retesting demand. So probably right now we should be dropping to the hourly and the 15 minutes to wait for that beautiful shift to the upside so we can start longing. But again, don't forget that we are overall sell bias, and 50% was just tapped of the most recent range, so we can also start shorting. Ethereum is also pulling back nicely, so let's see how it's gonna hold. But yeah, crypto is not my expertise right now, so let's see. Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up like this, right? So hopefully the update is beneficial for you. We're having a tricky Monday open, which means that Tuesday is also gonna be tricky, right? A lot of potentials, a lot of scenarios that I see currently in the market. So I'm just going to be flowing. I'm just going to be waiting for that beautiful 50-minute pushes, right, to actually for the market to show me its hand. There is our short playing out very nicely. Probably, yeah, we can actually reach 4 hours, so we can take some partials just to secure in case we actually go long from this level. All right, but I do believe this one is slightly bit of a risky trade. So what I'm looking for right now is the 50-minute to really show me, right? If it nicely breaks below, then potentially I look for this. And right now, if the market holds from this zone, breaks above, then I will be looking for retest and continuation higher. Okay. GU is right now about to cook. So there's that long that I told you about, guys. A lot of you push pullback. So that is a nice long to take. I'm sure a lot of people are in this trade right now. Aussie dollar keeps going lower. It actually formed that 50-minute shift to structure. So right now we can be setting alerts right there and waiting for the market to retest our short level, right? So this looks like shorts. The NZDs, I'm gonna skip the NZDs for now, and the JPYs also need a little bit of more time because there is right now difference between the USD and the USD yen. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. Comment below, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday. Probably not gonna be trading actively this week, right? It's my last week with family. I'm gonna be back in September, when I'm gonna start publishing more videos for you. So wishing you a crushing week, and talk to you on my next video.